I know.
Those
I
days
know
are over.
you can, man. I know you can. oh shit, we're live, and I totally didn't have the
We
music
are
going on.
live, ladies and gentlemen.
That was a little behind the scenes, like, you know, because I hit the button to go. And
I have another
didn't-
behind the scenes question.
Okay.
Where's our names?
Where? Oh, I can see my name.
Oh, I
This is
can't
Chris.
see mine.
You can't see Mike. It's right there, man.
All right. Whatever. It's not on mine, but that's cool.
Weird, wacky stuff, man. As Ed McMahon would say, weird, wacky stuff. Or is that Johnny Carson? Weird, wacky stuff. Weird,
Whose line
wacky
was
stuff.
that? Was that Johnny's line?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a good conversation to have later. So we got to start the show off with this. By far, one of my favorite intros to a television series. Okay, and I'm just gonna bust out on this because it's in my head and I can hear it. Before we came on, I was singing to myself. So, making your way in the world today takes everything you've got.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Dun, 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 dun. Sometimes we want to go where everybody knows your name. I'm out of key. And they're always glad you came. Dun, dun, dun. You want to be where you can see where troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. Do-do-do-do-do.
And if you don't know that, you've been living under a rock.
Right. So
Or
today
super young.
is right. So today's May 20th, and we lost George Wendt, who was famously known as Norm on Cheers. 78 years old, I think it said.
Great character.
Great fucking character, and a staple of a character, right? Like you think of Cheers, I always think of Norm. I don't know about anybody else, and maybe a little bit of Cliff, but it's more Norm to me.
Absolutely. He's the
You
first
know?
character that comes to mind for me, for sure. And then Cliff sitting next to him, and then Sam
Right.
behind the bar. And
Yeah, I never really liked Ted Danson. I still don't really like him as an actor. He kind of seems like one of those pompous, arrogant, narcissistic fucks. I mean, I could be wrong.
No, there's something
know.
about him. I'm trying to even think of a series that I liked him in.
No, see, that's it. All you think about him is Cheers.
I guess that's
Like
it.
he's done other stuff. He's.
We tolerated him in Cheers, right?
Yeah, I can see the things that he's done, but I can't name them now. Unfortunately, he's in the remake of Naked Gun, the Naked Gun, police squad shit. He's playing Leslie Nielsen's character. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Liam Neeson's doing that. Liam Neeson. I think of the same because there's a thing on Netflix that has Ted Danson on it, and he's
How
kind of
dare you?
right, and he kind of looks.
Liam
he
Neeson's
kinda-
cool.
He is cool. But Ted Danson's has this thing on Netflix, I think, where you see him and he looks like he's playing the Liam Neeson character, and I was just like, "No, fuck, please don't don't be that guy. Just don't be that guy." You know.
It's all about the dollars, buddy. It's all about the dollars.
Right. It is. So yeah, that's what happened today. Norm has passed away.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that. Did that just happen? Or?
It just happened in the last hour or so. I just randomly
That's why.
I've been responding to stuff on Reddit, real estate posts and shit, kind of educating the masses, and did a blog and made a handful of videos marketing and shit, and it popped up. And Norm Wendt and George Wendt died. So.
Yeah, definitely a staple of American sitcom television for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he was one of those character actors that basically took his spot, like owned it, owned his character for sure.
Yeah, if you watch the show like you and I did, you can totally see in your mind there he is sitting at the bar,
Yep,
right? Just
totally.
He had that posture
Totally.
that defined his character for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and then some, because again, Sam was there, and the Sam and Diane thing on Cheers was kind of cool, for a while, but it kind of got old. It's just like, okay, I get every TV show needs to have a relationship in it because it's got to draw in all the demographics, and women like relationships and shit. And my co-host on my radio show, Real Talk USA, Margie, She was
Yes.
actually on Cheers. She was an extra in the background.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. She had all kinds of fun stories.
I
growing
love those
up
little claim to fame.
Yeah, growing up in California, and then she worked. I can drop some of these. So she worked at a movie studio. I don't know. We'll just call it Warner Brothers for lack of better name. And she would go on her smoke break. I don't know what her role was, but one of the times she went on her smoke break, she was out back smoking with Alec Baldwin. Back
Sweet.
before he killed somebody. Said he was quick-witted, like you wouldn't believe. Like that dude, just you say something and boom, he's right back at you, firing a
Okay,
line
there
that
you
makes
go.
laugh.
How do you feel about that subject?
About him shooting that dude in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you got to go back in time a little bit, like
I have an opinion about everything.
I do. So, but I'm going to preface it with I'm going to preface it with this. Remember the movie The Crow with Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son?
Yeah, I've seen it about 100 times for sure.
Yeah, great movie. It's
fantastic.
He was killed in the movie with it wasn't real bullets, but it was enough. There was enough bullets being fired at him that the shards ended up piercing skin and killing him. Because they were using blanks, and blanks still discharge. It's not just when you have a gun, you still have a bullet coming out. It's just not loaded with gunpowder and shit. It's that should have taught everybody in the movie industry gun safety on a grand scale, because Brandon Lee was just breaking into the scene. He's legend.
Yep.
His father's a legend, right?
I totally remember that story.
Yeah, and it was a great movie, and he was a good looking human. He was ripped. Just everything.
He would have been a superstar for sure.
Yes, he would have been an action superstar hero type thing. So with the Alec Baldwin thing, we don't know anything but what we've read and seen and heard. But if he's messing around with a gun, a prop gun nonetheless, he's still messing around with a gun and not handling it properly, and then it accidentally goes off and kills somebody, I got to call BS on that. He should have gotten in trouble for that, because he was holding a prop gun and playing with it.
So
right?
I'm going to stop you right there. Because here's how I feel about it.
Okay.
You know that I had to pick one or the other, right?
Sure.
I went out shooting guns with the first guy that sang and played bass in our band.
Okay.
He was really into it. Took Scott and I out to the desert several times. Got us into shooting guns. It was a blast. But I had to choose between, do I want to have nicer musical equipment or be a gun collector? Because they cost about the same amount of money. Right?
Yes.
Guns are expensive.
They are.
My point of this long-winded
No, it's not long. It's just you and I, man. It's just you and I, brother.
Thank you. My point is, I don't really know a whole lot about gun safety other than the little bit that I learned for that 6-month period before, we moved on as a different band. But
Right.
I know enough. When you pick up a gun, you check everything before you ever think about firing that weapon, right?
Thank you.
Is the safety on? Is it loaded properly? Blah, blah, blah. But is all the safety checks done first before you even think about pointing that gun anywhere but at a target, right?
Exactly.
That's just the way that Mike laid it out. That way you don't kill anybody. We only shoot in this direction, and we do all these things before we point the gun at the target. So my point is, he should have checked to make sure that there weren't live rounds in that gun.
Absolutely. And who put the live rounds in the gun to begin with? Because, again, it's a prop gun on a movie set that has no business
They never
having
did.
live
Did
rounds.
they ever figure that out?
I don't know.
Because if he didn't load the gun, he's for surely 50% responsible, but then the person
Negligent
who loaded
homicide.
the gun, there you go.
Negligent homicide. Absolutely. Like, you load it or not, you have the gun in your hand. If somebody comes to my house and I get my shotgun out, right, and we struggle, they take my shotgun, he ends up killing me in my house, and he's the intruder. It's not murder, it's self-defense, but it's a homicide thing, because it's, breaking, entering, all that kind of jazz. It's you still neglected to, I don't know if that was the best example, but you still neglected to maintain a level of safety.
That was a horrible example, just so you know that I call you out.
Okay.
I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. Yeah, that was a horrible example.
That was terrible. I was trying to think
because
of
you would
something
have been let off on self-defense. The guy broke in your home, and you have the absolute right to defend yourself, especially in the great state of Arizona.
Right. But if he took
where
my
it's still
gun,
kind of like the Wild West.
Right, but if he took my gun from me, then he killed me. Would that still be relevant? Would that still be?
Then it's murder.
Right. Why is it murder, or is it? Or
he
is
killed
it,
you with your own gun.
Right,
Still
but
murder.
but he was self-defending himself, right?
Now he's in your. He broke in your house. You would be the greatest defense lawyer in the history of the fucking world. He's arguing against himself. The judge would be like, "You win. I'm fucking confused."
Oh, it's awesome.
No, for surely murder. He took your gun from you and then shot you in your own home.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to claim that he's going to claim squatters' rights at this point.
Right. Yeah. Right.
No, I live here, officer. No, I just moved in right after this guy died.
That's funny, man. That's so funny.
Oh,
I tried.
now you know why we're into serial killers, ladies and gentlemen. It's just
right.
we're
Dude, the Ed.
desensitized.
Speaking of serial killers, the Ed Gein story is coming out this month on Netflix.
So sweet.
Right. It's supposed to be really dark and
following
disturbing. Yeah. It's supposed to be very dark and disturbing. So we'll see.
I don't think it has a happy ending.
I don't think so either. I'm the one thing about him. I've seen stuff on him, but they've never made a movie about him. So that I think is going to be the interesting part of it. Did you see they're making a Tyson movie with Jamie Foxx and Christian Bale? No. Yeah. Okay. So I saw that the other day.
Jamie Foxx.
No, I'm sorry. Jamie Foxx and Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson, I think, is playing Don King, and Jamie Foxx is playing Tyson. The other movie I'm thinking about with Christian Bale is Christian Bale and Nicolas Cage are playing John Madden and Al Davis. Right?
Less excited.
No, but still, man, Nicolas Cage, he's one of those dudes that, I mean, you love him or hate him because he doesn't turn anything down, right? But like the image.
I do like a lot of his movies, for sure.
Yeah, I do too. And his I don't know if it's got to be prosthetics and shit because he's huge. He's mad and huge in this thing.
I saw the picture for it.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be good because it'll be cool to see what
for sure.
What I want to see the dynamic of Davis and Madden because that would be cool because obviously it's starting with Madden's coaching years and then I'm going to assume it leads into the broadcast booth because why wouldn't it? It'd be stupid if it didn't. But that'd be interesting to see what kind of human he was, at least on that aspect.
There was somebody recently telling, and I wish I got to write these things down. They told the best Al Davis story ever, and it had to do with the draft.
Okay.
Like he screwed some kid from going somewhere else.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it went down, but I was like, holy crap, that guy was gangster.
Oh, like that kind of gangster.
Yeah,
Kinda
like the kid would have ended up somewhere else that he probably wanted to go, and somehow Al Davis went in and did some kind of underhanded deal with the draft, and things were different back then.
Well, I think, but I still think there's slim shady shit going on though. On a whole,
no question.
I mean, just everybody wants to say the whole Shadur Sanders, drop to the fifth round was the NFL, and the whole nonsense of that. But what I think it really was, nobody gives a damn who your dad is.
Right.
Like
at that level, for sure.
No, you're not. Because there's plenty of sons that have played the NFL, to join the NFL that you don't hear about because they're not as good as their fathers were. And there's some that are. There's some that are kind of, close to it, but not, right? I saw something last week because you being a baseball fan, Cecil Fielder, right? So there's the third generation of the Fielder family is now playing baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, now that's legit. But he still had to work his way up. It wasn't
absolutely.
It wasn't like you're just drafted to the majors and you're starting tomorrow. You still got to put your time in. And I think that's what the Sanders family was thinking, that Shadur was just going to walk on and be a number one pick overall. Which if you don't have the skill set and all the stuff that came out afterwards too. He wasn't prepared. He was interviewing the coaches instead of letting them interview him, and the arrogance and the narcissism. And he eventually fired his dad as his agent. So what does that tell you?
That tells you a lot.
It tells you everything.
When I heard that, I was like, huh. I don't know. Maybe I wanted to. I don't think I wanted to see a different side than you when we've been talking about this, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you brought that up because when I read that, I was like, holy shit, yeah, okay. Now I'm on Chris's side on this because that speaks volumes when everyone thinks there's some kind of nepotism or whatever going on, and all of a sudden you're like,
that was the word.
Here's a good correlation in the music world. I just read an article with Wolfgang Van Halen, and one of the questions that the guy asked him, and I would want to ask him this too.
Sure.
Did your dad teach you how to play guitar? You know, anybody would want to know that. Eddie Van Halen was one of the greatest guitar players on the planet, and he flat out says, no, my dad was a horrible teacher.
Right.
He was a great player,
Yeah.
but he couldn't teach for shit because he would just play it real fast and say, you do it like this. But he could never slow it down enough to where he could grasp it as a young child to pick it up. You got to slow things down to less than half speed, maybe a third speed.
Imagine being in that room, right? Eddie Van Halen sitting over there in the recliner. You got Mike, the guitar teacher, sitting there looking at Wolfgang, facing each other with the chairs, and you're showing them how to hit the frets and shit.
Dweezil Zappa did a lot of that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Right on. And then looking over and seeing Eddie like just eyeing you like, what are you fucking teaching my son, man? Hey, that's not right. That's wrong. Because he was a control freak. He had to be for who he was, from a music standpoint. Not, I'm saying, a lifelong, but from a music standpoint. I didn't know Dweezil Zappa taught him how to play guitar. That was cool.
He didn't teach him. He was pretty well self-taught, but I think that they hung out and, like he picked up some things from him because Eddie and Dweezil have been friends forever.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure Frank Zappa lived in that neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, I know Wolfgang, like his dad, plays everything.
Eddie gave Dweezil his first guitar.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Weird, wild stuff on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Do you listen to any of Wolfgang stuff? That was a good Johnny Carson. I like
it. Thank you. I try. Every now and then I can get it. Every now and then I can get my little accents right off. I have. His new song is kind of fun. It's. You remember that movie From Dusk Till Dawn with George Clooney? Yeah, right.
Wasn't Antonio Banderas in that movie?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yes, he was. So was I forget his name now, the Bad Lieutenant actor. Harvey Keitel, great friggin' actor.
Oh, I love Harvey Keitel's movies.
If you ever saw Bad Lieutenant, that's the epitome of Harvey Keitel. Oh my gosh. There was also
he's one I've seen them all too.
Yeah,
just like Gene Hackman and Clint Eastwood, Harvey Keitel. I've seen all those movies.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke had one, and I just every time I think of Harvey Keitel, Bad Lieutenant, I think of this Mickey Rourke one. Well, he was a barfly. The movie's called Barfly.
I don't think I ever saw it.
Dude, it's so good, but I haven't been able to find it for years, man. But it's called Barfly. Like, he legit plays this little gimpy, no offense, world, character that, is not all physically there. And he's always searching for that one thing. Like, those people that just, I need that one. If I hit the lottery, I'm set, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to put on this boxing match. And if he's in debt up to his eyeballs and everybody's after him. But I mean, his Mickey Rourke was brilliant. He's a brilliant actor, man. I wish he never did the frickin' plastic surgery because it just destroyed his face. But
totally agree.
Great actor, man. The Wrestler, you've had to have seen The Wrestler. He was epic in The Wrestler. It was a great movie. But yeah, so Harvey Keitel was in it. So the video of his new song he just released is kind of has that vibe to it when the bar turns and everybody starts turning to vampires and zombies and crap.
Right.
Miles Kennedy's in it. His head blows up.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Because when I watched it, I was like that looks like Miles Kennedy. And
that's what made me go watch it because I read, I think it was just a headline on Facebook that said Miles Kennedy appears in Mammoth new video or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like,
I saw it from the fact that I follow both of them and Wolfgang had dropped something about, or maybe Miles dropped something about going on tour with Wolfgang.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then that just led me down the path of, Wolfgang, his second tour, he opened for Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
Like when I saw,
I've been following his career from the beginning because the thing that I appreciate about him is he is pretty much self-taught and he plays everything. He said Alex showed him a couple things on drums and Michael might have showed him some things on bass or whatever.
Bass, yeah.
But for the most part, it was just him. His dad's out on tour with the rest of the guys and he's sitting at home. Hey, I got the coolest equipment in the history of mankind. to listen to his album and know that he's played everything on there is fascinating. He's the bass player, he's the drummer, he's the background singer, he's the lead singer, he's the songwriter. That's impressive.
Yes, and that's kind of like a la Prince, right? Because Prince would play everything in his
Couldn't agree with you more. Phil Collins.
Yeah, I didn't know. Really, Phil Collins. I didn't know Phil Collins.
Phil Collins can play like 19 different instruments. I don't know if he played all of the instruments on his albums, but he played quite a few of them.
No shit. Okay, I didn't know that. I knew Prince. I didn't know Wolfgang. That's legit. I know Kid Rock. I don't know if he plays everything, but I know Kid Rock.
He's capable of.
Right, because one of the things I've seen him twice, and one of the things he does on stage during one of the songs is he'll jump from musician to musician spot on the stage. So he's singing, and then he'll jump over to the piano guy, then he'll jump over to the drummer, and he'll jump to the bass, jump to the guitar. And if there's a horn section or shit, he does the whole gamut during one song, which is...
Do you know the Kid Rock Vanilla Ice story?
No.
So you remember the album Devil Without a Cause, right? His breakout album had a middle finger in the middle of the CD, right? And all the kids went, yeah, it's awesome because, that's what we did back then. That's cool, man. That guy's like, fuck the man. Here's the story behind that middle finger on that CD.
Okay.
He was signed to Atlantic Records. I don't know who he ended up signing with back in the day. I think it was Geffen. It doesn't matter because it wasn't Atlantic.
Okay.
So he's already got a deal. They're ready to start promoting him, recording an album. They're 100% behind Kid Rock. Along comes this guy named Vanilla Ice.
Ice.
And they could only fund one of the artists.
No kidding.
And they dropped Kid Rock.
Wow.
So I'm almost positive Geffen picked him up, so many years later, right? He still had to fight and scrape and claw to get to the top another 3, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it was, because Vanilla Ice broke in, the mid-'80s? Late 80s?
Late 80s, yeah. Maybe even the 90s, because...
No, it was 80s for sure.
Okay.
Because...
okay.
Devil Without a Cause probably came out in, 93 maybe?
Okay.
So Vanilla Ice would have had to have been probably late 80s. So he had to still fight for another 3 or 4 years to get to the top, after he had already been there. He's like, I got a record deal. I'm ready to go. And all of a sudden they just kicked me to the curb for this guy who's got one fucking song.
1985 was when Vanilla Ice first hit the scene.
I was right the first time. I said mid-80s.
Kid Rock debut.
No, I just want to know when Devil Without a Cause came out because I don't think anybody cared about him until then.
About Devil Without a Cause, where is it?
That's when the whole world knew who Kid Rock was.
Yeah.
My name is Kid. He fucking yelled it at you right from the get-go. Rock! Yeah.
Kid Rock.
Fucking badass riff.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that thing loud enough on my speakers when I heard it the first time. I'm like, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Right? It was, dude. And the fact that he mixed 1998 Devil Without a Cause.
So look how long he had to wait from 1985 to
13 years, dude.
No wonder there was a middle finger on that fucking album.
Wow.
That's the story behind that.
That's crazy, dude.
I heard it from his own mouth on one of his documentaries.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had no
That'll
idea.
leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. And then now he's still... I mean, Vanilla Ice is relevant. Vanilla Ice did okay for his
He's not
career,
Kid Rock, though.
No, he doesn't have Kid Rock money. That's for sure.
Kid Rock's got that middle finger money.
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. So we were supposed to have a guest on the show today. By the way, this is the Chris and Mike Show. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Go ahead and give us a follow on the Instagram, Facebook, and then you can subscribe on the YouTube channel because we drop shorts twice a day, and the shorts don't coincide with our show. There are different shorts from different people that were on our show at random times. It's pretty fantastic. I'm telling you, it's beautiful people. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You're going to absolutely just love. The
kids seem to
Chris and
dig
Mike
them.
Show.
As we used to say, the kids seem to dig them.
Yeah, you're just going to love the Chris and Mike Show.
Can I bring that back? Dig them?
You can bring that back. Dig them. Dig them. I dig it, man. I dig it, you know?
Because I don't know if I understand this language they speak today.
This is kind of fun. So, Walton Coggins, right? Righteous Gemstones, Baby Bobby Billy, Bobby Billy.
Great character.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Baby Bobby Billy.
Bobby Billy. Yeah.
Baby Bobby. So, but he was also Uncle
character.
Rico. Right, but he's also Uncle Rico. Like, that's the dynamic of this guy. If you didn't know that, boys and girls, the guy who plays Baby Bobby Billy on Righteous Gemstones played Uncle Rico on Napoleon Dynamite.
He was also a badass on Justified. I can't remember that character's name, and they're screaming at me right now because he was a great... Anyway, he was a great character on Justified.
He was on White Lotus recently. That was good. So anyway, where I'm going with this is he maintains and manages his own social media stuff. Okay?
No shit.
Right. So when that little scene came out where I need $2 million in 8-ball. Why can't you just understand that? I just need $2 million in 8-ball, and then I'm off doing my thing.
Oh, that was great.
So that dropped on something on Facebook, and I typed in below it the acronym for "If you know, you know," right?
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
A couple of days later, Skyler messages me, "Oh, Dad, Walter Coggins manages his own Facebook page." I'm like, "That's cool." He's like, "Well, he liked your post." So legit, I went and looked it up.
That's awesome.
And so he liked my post and followed me. So I'm following back. Which,
you guys are tight now, man. That's awesome.
And the really cool thing is
you're welcome on anytime, Walter.
Right, exactly.
I
actually said that. He hasn't responded yet. And I've been getting a lot of friend suggestions on Facebook that have to do with I think it's because of Mark Jeffrey, because you know how Facebook is.
Oh, for sure.
All the radio, TV stuff in the Valley all of a sudden is suggesting be my friend. So a couple of them accepted it, and I reached out to one, Kim Quintero. I was like, "Hey, you want to be on our show?" She's like, "Well, send me some links." I was like, "Okay, here's your links. Now let me know." She hasn't responded. A link away. So that was kind of cool. So where I was going with that is I went on his page because Skyler said he manages it, and I went all the way down to the beginning because he hasn't done it for very long. It's kind of cool because it's like there's stuff where he gets like 10 engagements, which is the likes, loves, heart emoji, whatever, and then no shares and 15 comments, all the way up to when he's doing this Saturday Night Live thing that day. He's jumping up and down, and it's like 18,000 reactions and 87 shares and like 400 comments. But the dynamic of it, I thought was cool because normally somebody that's at that level,
similar to ours on scale,
right?
One's got 100,000 views or 30, whatever it was, and then the next one's got 12.
Yeah, it's a trip how that
it's like some of your shorts go down a black hole to never be found again.
Right.
And not just, I didn't mean yours. I mean just like everyone's in general.
No, but it's
like
true. Yeah.
The internet sucks it up and nobody ever sees it again.
Yeah, I came
Those
across
12 people were lucky.
Yeah, I came across one today because I wrote a blog about the HUD-1 settlement statement in the real estate world and what it's all about. Blah blah blah. Because somebody had asked on Reddit, which is where I go and I read comments and I like them and that kind of thing, and I answer the questions and stuff because I'm a real estate professional, so I'm putting my stuff out there. So it was surprising to me that I couldn't find that one video I did in 2022, but my other one I did today wasn't long enough to put it up as into a blog, which was stupid.
Did you just say you're putting yourself out there, Chris Dunham? Do we need to have an intervention?
I put myself out there all the time, Michael.
I think. By the way, we had a guest on the show that discussed that subject.
Yeah, so
it'll be okay.
I'm on the YouTube page right now. I gotta say, our YouTube page, if you haven't been there, boys and girls,
our YouTube page kicks ass.
Right, it's just at Chris and Mike Show, and I'm looking at it because I wanted to find something. That thing's badass.
I think what you should do is write down the first 56 or whatever it is followers, and someday we'll send them some nice gifts when we have some swag and some merchandise, because they have really supported our page on a level that's about 10 to 15 to 1 of all the other platforms combined. So congratulations, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube community. You guys kick ass.
You do kick ass. And one of our past guests, Nate Palmer, the $1 Million Body, I sent him all his shorts from his show. I told him, start sharing these things, and he's like, they don't share very well on Instagram. I'm like, they do, dude. They're perfect for Instagram because they're less than a minute.
Actually, our Instagram reels do not quite as well as your Facebook reels, but they do about 5 to 1 on Facebook. I know numbers, ladies and gentlemen. I just have an obsession with how things grow.
Well, and see, and this is where I'm going with it, because there you go. Because YouTube gives you certain things. So, Bill Belichick praising Eli Manning, that was a 25-second short. That's over 11,000 views. The Maddox debate, the Maddox rule, the Greg Maddox rule, that's 1,400 views.
But we had that one on Instagram that was what, 60,000, 70,000?
Right. So that's the dynamic of it. It's a trip. Pete Rose was 916. We obviously were right on that because in the end, the major.
But here's the deal.
Their mind.
Here's what I see.
Okay.
You have shorts right now because you release them religiously.
Correct.
Some of them shoot right up to 800.
Right. Yeah.
And the next one is 15. And then the next one is 900 and it'll be 56.
Right.
And then it's 1.5K and then it's 2.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's the weirdest thing.
I love watching it, though. It cracks me up. It's like,
what
is special about these other ones? I think they're all great, but whatever.
Yeah, because I'm going through, just scrolling through right now. There's like 400 plus is all the popular ones. All the shorts, they're like, at least have 400 views. So I don't know if that's YouTube's algorithm that you got to have at least 400 for it to be popular. But I mean, I'm still scrolling. I mean, that's how many shorts we have that are still.
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. You've gotten better at your advertising of it, even at the grassroots level, right? You have better displays. You have more interesting content on a regular basis. A lot of things come into play. You have better hashtags, whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
And right now there's a bunch of young kids screaming at me going, if you would do just this, you would have 10 million. And I'm like, yeah, so send us an email.
Yeah, because I see those things. We're on some podcast platforms on social media, and I see, I just got my thing up to 60,000 subscribers in a year, and my comment always is, did you pay for that or was it organic? And guess what? They never answer the question because they never answer the question.
That means they paid for it. You know that as well as I do. You're not stupid. No. We've been around the block when it comes to entertainment and being an artist and how shit works. The game may change, or the way the game is played may change, but the game is still the same, right?
It is. Yep.
It's all about networking. And you and I think, are doing it the right way in that we're meeting new and interesting people all the time that are providing a message of some kind of interesting. It doesn't always have to be positive. I don't want to say positive because the world is not always positive, but for the most part, we've done a good job of bringing some pretty uplifting messages to the world, and that makes me happy. Right? I think people like those stories. Of Alicia's story blew me away, man. Some of these just keep getting better and better. It's like you can't believe there's people out there doing that kind of work because the media would have you believe that everything's falling apart every day while this person's going out putting it back together, right?
And that's the fucking media, man. I just can't. I'm so tired.
It's fucking exhausting if you try and make sense of it because there is no sense to be made of it. It's all propaganda. You know that as well as I do.
Well, and they just lie. They just
That's
lie
why it's propaganda.
About everything. It's like.
Here's an interesting thing.
Okay.
Because number one, I don't want you to get angry.
I'm not.
And number two, I think this is interesting. I was scrolling through my fucking rabbit hole that I go down on Facebook or Instagram or one of them, right? And I fucking hate that because sometimes I lose an hour, sometimes 2 of my life, and that's unacceptable. But this person had an interesting theory that we've discussed on this podcast before of the Mandela effect.
Yes.
And this guy said, what if it's so sinister that it's not really magic? What if they are purposely changing the timeline ever so slightly, maliciously, to see how far they can go before people will break, right? How much can we change certain things? It broke my brain for a minute. I sat and, when somebody makes me stop and think, because most of the time I'm like, yeah, you're full of shit and here's why.
Yeah.
because I've studied a lot of things, and I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world, but there's a lot of things people tell you. You're like, that's bullshit, and here's why.
Yeah.
And if you don't
So,
believe
like,
it, that's fine.
So kind of like the Truman Show. Remember the Truman Show where they're manipulating the character
Like we're being
the entire
gaslit.
time? Yeah. Well, we've talked about that before. To where are we actually living in what's known as the Matrix? Like, did the Matrix? Is that? I mean, I don't think that's legit like that, but I think that I wouldn't be
That's a
surprised.
possibility, like a simulation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
A simulation. Yeah. Yeah. Which would be weird.
The world ended long ago. We're just like the Matrix. We're floating in suspended animation to be used as batteries.
So this, I like that. That's okay.
How do we know that's not true?
That's heavy, man. That's heavy.
When virtual reality takes over,
yeah.
how do you know that's not true? And that's coming.
Oh, it's so.
You're already being trained by carrying your fucking smartphone. You just don't know it, right?
Mm-hmm. Did you see the video? Like, we went to QT. Nikki and I drove to Tucson because I had the listing popping up. And
I liked
and
it. My mom commented on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So, boys and girls that are in the listening, viewing audience, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, my wife and I went down to Tucson because I have a listing coming up. There's a wholesale deal. And we went to a QT because, it's an hour and a half from our house. We had to pee. And I didn't know if the house was going to have utilities on or not. So I'm like, we need to go here, stop here, just, get out, stretch legs, go to the bathroom.
Sure.
We walk in the door and there's this robot. Remember, for those of you that ever watched the Jetsons, okay, it's a small version of Rosie, the robot. Probably 3 feet tall, and it had eyes, and the eyes could see me walking in the door because it stopped.
It talked.
It told me, "Thank you for coming to QT. Please come again." And then later, "Hello, I'm a robot. Please don't mind me as I clean the floor. And thank you for shopping at QT."
So let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
In 2025, when I can sit here with the most badass computer that Mac could make in 2023, they make a more badass one in 2025, but I have the best thing that Mac made in 2023.
Right.
It can make voices out of anything. Why does it still have to be the robot voice and thank you for coming to QT?
I think it needs to have the cute element to it for the little kids that walk in the store.
To catch their attention. Mm-hmm. Keep them from getting run over or whatever. Yeah, okay, I can accept that.
Because it did. It legit stopped. Like,
grabbed your attention.
It stopped and then it turned around because I stood in its way.
We have them cleaning our floors at work, so
yeah. I mean, it's coming. It's coming.
I told you, I read that article that in 2026 or 2028, they're going to have a fully automated assembly line of humanoid robots in South Carolina building cars. Did I tell you that?
I don't think you did. And that's scary from the standpoint of...
That's a true story.
I believe you. But it's scary from the standpoint that some of those things, you got to have the human element to it, I think. Some of the nuances. I do. I think so. In building a car,
I think you're right.
I think there needs to be something. Huh?
I actually know you're right on a lot of levels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think you have to have.
I'll tell you off the air why.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons why I think is because if like a human, okay, so like a trained human, like somebody who built cars back in the day, right, when Detroit started booming, right? They could look at the car, they could look at the body, they could see imperfections after doing their job long enough. They could say, "Oh, this is jacked, this won't fit, this is off, this isn't whatever," right? You have that human element to it. Machines are great, yeah, because the error and the flaws should drop.
But here's what I'll say about the manufacturing process in today's America, which I'm pretty familiar with, right?
Yeah, you are.
They're great as assistants to
help
a meaningless task, yes, that would cause repetitive motion injuries and but there still needs to be eyes on the prize, so to speak, as the project moves along. And that doesn't just go with building cars. They still can't recreate Beethoven, right? Because AI has no imagination. That's the one thing. Once it has imagination, we're fucked.
Right.
Because then it can think for itself. That's the distinctive factor between mankind and the animal kingdom or electronics, right? We have free will and we have an imagination. Mm-hmm. An imagination made this microphone, made this computer, made all this possible, right? I'm too stupid to do any of this. So luckily somebody had a different imagination. Mm-hmm. I can do the podcast. I can make it work. You can make it work. But we couldn't build the microphone, the computer, the mouse, the interface that we use, you know? People don't think about that shit. That all came from a human brain. It didn't come from a rhinoceros. It didn't come from a giraffe.
No.
And it didn't come from a computer yet. That's the scary part, because the key word is yet. I've seen a lot of this AI shit. I've played with the Oculus Rift and all that kind of stuff.
What's the Oculus? Explain. I don't know what that is.
So the Oculus is a virtual reality headset.
Okay.
Where you can play games in a virtual reality space. So you're in your own living room, but when you put that on, you have to be very aware of your surroundings, because you are now in a 3-dimensional environment that is no longer your living room. It's a lot like tripping on acid.
Gotcha.
You know, the world in front of you disappears and another world appears that is either in your mind or it's really there. You just don't see it all the time, right? Virtual reality is a lot like that, and it's fucking weird until you get used to it. If you have any kind of motion sensitivity, I don't recommend it at all. It'll freak you the fuck out.
Okay.
But if you don't, it's man, it's cool. There was a game called Beat Saber on there where you just basically had a lightsaber and you played your favorite songs, and these objects came at you and you're hitting them with lightsabers, and that's how you scored your points, right? And you could play that against Carrie, and I played it together. That's where she had one of those. It was awesome. So that's the world we're coming to. There's going to be a point where I feel like you're going to be able to choose between that world and whatever's left of this world, right? If we don't shape things up, this world could come in. We could either be whatever, nuclear winter, no resources. What if there's a company that comes along that says, hey, if you just want to slip into this world, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to be a participant, right? And now there's 1 million, 2 million people living in virtual reality, and that's their new environment.
That would be a trip, man. And then you're just sitting there
you're in suspended animation, basically.
Yeah. You're just like the Matrix when he wakes up in the.
But now you can be married
to cog.
Cindy Crawford, you know, her woman of your dreams.
Well, it's that I can't imagine being married to anybody else but Nikki. As cheesy as that sounds, even if Cindy
in your
Crawford came
position,
on my
I'm
door,
in a
I'd be
different
like,
position.
Yeah. This is true. You can have Cindy Crawford. I'll still have Nikki, because you know.
Oh, it's gonna be Jennifer Aniston for me. She
there
never
you go.
aged. I think she got better with age.
Well, you know, plastic surgery and nip and tuck.
But hers is really good.
It is. Well, because she's smart, man. She didn't do it stupidly, you know. And I think some of it probably is from good living. Like a lot of how people age, it ties directly with their life and their lifestyle and their stress levels and you know, like I have one of the world's most stressful jobs.
You have one of the highest suicide rates too.
I do. Oh yeah, my fucking job is just, you know.
A lot of people don't know that. That came as a shock to me. I think you're the one that told me that.
Yeah. I've legit, I told you before, and it's worth repeating. I sold a house. I sold 3 houses to a family. The father-in-law was so emotionally attached to their house. He raised the kids in, you know, forever and ever, rightfully so. So that was a struggle. And then they bought a new one right across the street from the people that the kids of the father-in-law, right? I grew up with them. But when all said and done, representing all 3 of them, Tony had pulled me aside one day and he's like, I thought my job was stressful. And just so you understand, boys and girls, this was a former hostage negotiator with the Maricopa County Deputies Sheriff's Office, right? And has spent, even though he's retired now, he's spent probably the last 15 years doing cold case remains. And what I mean by that, he feels that every box of bones deserves to have a name attached to it. So that's his gig, and that's what he does after retired. He still fights to find those names of those remains. But yeah, he said that he would not wish my job on anyone.
I agree.
He straight up was a hostage negotiator for decades.
And here's why. That's fascinating.
It is fascinating, right?
Way more fascinating.
Like I wish I could get him to put that in writing because I need it in writing.
It's way more fascinating than what my opinion would be worth, because that guy was under way more stress than I've ever been in, other than trying to stay alive at one point. So I guess I can relate at some level. But it's, all the things that you say that you've learned along the way as we've done this podcast, the one thing I've learned from you is I would not want to do your job just for the simple fact I'm a pretty good self-starter and self-motivator, but I don't know if I could continue it at that level doing that job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. It's very
you have to have a passion for it, for sure, which you do.
Yeah, you do. And the other thing too with it, this fucking microphone, I can't get this to stay where I'm today. The other thing too with it as well is that I'm documenting my day to day. That you wake up every day, and I've said this before, unemployed. And what I do today affects me 45 days from now. And
that
so when you're
sure.
constantly grinding, trying to drum up business, and I've drummed up plenty of business the last couple months, but they all hit the wall for some reason. Right? This buyer couldn't do because of that. This one's on hold because of this. This one can't go because of this. That one needs to do that. So it's, it's one of those weird conundrums where I've had enough flowing of potential deals, but they all just stopped on a dime because, this didn't work or that didn't work, or they got to save more money, or they got to pay this, that off, or they didn't realize by doing this. Oh, by the way, when you want to consolidate your credit cards, you think you're doing it right by doing a credit consolidation loan. You just essentially file bankruptcy, so don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Credit consolidation. You see those ads and stuff, boys and girls online. Oh, you can consolidate your credit cards. If you have over $20,000 in credit card debt, we'll get.
Don't ever do that.
No, because it's you just filed bankruptcy. It's the same approach, because
the one thing that you and I have in common when it comes to credit is I have been on both sides of the fence where I knowingly and willingly ruined my credit and knew how to manipulate the system to get what I needed and what I wanted on a level that's probably unprecedented, other than like fucking New York Stock Exchange white collar crime. I knew what I was doing for sure. I ran up a lot of credit cards and never paid them off, because they will not put you in jail.
No, they won't.
But they will ruin your fucking life forever when it comes to you can't buy a car and you can't buy a house. And Chris worked miracles helping me understand what credit meant the first time I bought a house. So, I think you put a testimonial for me, which you can do anytime, on the internet the other day, that said, I will testify what he will go to as a, the lengths he will go to as a realtor. There were no two less opportune clients than Carrie and I at the time, because she basically had no credit and mine was in the toilet. So I learned a lot from you just getting started there. And then, my life fell apart after that. My credit rating fell apart after that. So I had to rebuild from not applicable when I moved back here in 2009 to I'm sitting here talking to you. I just got it from Discover Card the other day. It's 825. So
wow.
I figured shit out.
Holy smokes, man.
Oh, yeah. I know what I'm doing when it comes to repairing your credit. So
that's better than mine.
Well, it's better than a lot of people's, just for the simple fact you're carrying more debt than I am, like revolving debt and blah, blah, blah. Your situation's different than mine. But
sure,
I have a better credit score than the guy that taught me how to get there, which is Clark Howard. His is like 775, 780 averages all the time, because he carries a lot of debt. He's a landlord and blah, 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 whatever. But I figured shit out. So when you tell people that, I want them to know his message is 100% true. You have to do all the things that he lists in the podcast that he's releasing right now on his YouTube page, right?
Yeah. I learned that from this. I was like, hey, why don't I do a little side project? And that, I think that
they're valuable, man.
Thank you. And I haven't looked at my numbers on it. I just, when I went in to upload a couple today, I was like, holy smokes, I got 100 more followers in a week.
Well, drop that shit on our page too.
Like legit.
If you, not even if you're looking for a house in Arizona, I mean, that kind of stuff is valuable to people I didn't know until I knew. One of my favorite sayings in life is you don't know what you know. You don't know what you don't know till you know it, right? I almost forgot my own saying. People say this is a stupid question. I'm like, there are no stupid questions.
There's never, no, thank you. I have
stupid question is the one you don't ask. So you don't know what you don't know till you know it. That's one of my favorite sayings.
And if you know it, then you know it, and you'll always know it. So then you can share that knowledge with somebody else who doesn't know it. Then you just took something they didn't know and made them know it because you know it because you knew it from the time you knew it and learned it from knowing it.
Now tell me what you said before listen to your sin every time. I was trying to think of it the other night.
Okay. Tomorrow doesn't understand. Yesterday will never be again. So take a moment and listen to your sin.
I fucking love that. I always did. And I couldn't think of it. I was sitting there and I'm racking my brain. I had part of it, but I could never put it together.
So that right there is 100%. I should turn this. That's 100% Jeff Tate influence, because Jeff Tate to me.
Jeff Tate is the lead singer of a band called Queensryche, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know. So
I was always I loved Queensryche. I loved Scorpions.
Me too.
We've gone right. So back when Nemesis was just beginning, when I joined as Desperate Angel, my big things I was watching at the time was Ozzy Osbourne's Live and Loud, because he was going on his final tour, No More Tours tour.
My cousin got me into it.
Right. And Queensryche was breaking onto the scene at a grander scale than Operation Mindcrime. They released They released Empires, or Empire, which was a whole more commercially successful.
Yes, for sure.
Not really a whole concept album like Operation was, even though it didn't have,
just not to the level.
Yes, right. So the live, when they went on tour for Building Empires tour, that's what they called it, they would do an hour of Operation Mindcrime, and then they would play the Empire album in its entirety.
Oh, so that's awesome.
Right? So
you got to see part of the tour I did.
Yes.
And then, because I didn't see the Building Empires tour. I saw the Operation Mindcrime tour.
I ended up seeing that a couple more times on the anniversary dates. They did at the Celebrity Theater here in Phoenix. They did Operation Mindcrime in its entirety. At the time, I took my brother. I was done drinking. He was still a slosh. We were legit as close as I am to my screen to Jeff Tate the whole show, because there he was. And my brother wouldn't leave him alone, so Jeff Tate literally ended up moving over by Eddie for the bulk of the show and stayed on that side of the catwalk, because Celebrity Theater had a catwalk, a runway that would go back.
I saw Ted Nugent there with Scott.
Right on. So Tate would run off the stage and then come back, and so I mean, here he was, and then he just wouldn't leave him alone. And my brother's like, 6'2", I want to say 200 pounds, but it's muscle. It's built 200 pounds. And when he's drunk, and you have somebody down in the front row.
Yeah.
Every time Jeff Tate came by, and I started watching Jeff Tate's eyes. I'm like,
you know what that's like when somebody's a little fucking crazy 2 feet from you?
It's like, bye, Jeff. See you. See you over there. Okay. So that was kind of a drag. But yeah, so anyway, where I was going with that story, squirrel. When they recorded Mindcrime, the live part of it, they wrapped up a song in Operation Mindcrime set list, and as the music was winding down, he's like, I got a question here. I want to know, is there anybody here tonight in Madison, Wisconsin that believes in love? And then DeGarmo, and he's like, I don't, and turns around. I'm like, fuck, like I got chills as a kid watching that. I wasn't a kid, but like as I said,
very young man for sure. Yeah,
I can still see it, so I still got a little bit of the chills because that was fucking cool, man. And so those are the little things, the little nuances that I would pick up.
So imagine this.
Yeah,
I'm 16 years old. Right. I see them for the first time do their entire Operation Mindcrime album before Metallica plays their And Justice for All set list. Oh, and I was in the front row for the And Justice for All set list, because that was back in the days when they still had general admission. Yes. People hadn't gotten smart yet. Metallica concerts can get a little rowdy if you didn't know. So as soon as Queensryche was done and the lights went down and they started playing that opening little, I think it's a French horn on Blackened.
Yeah.
Chairs started flying. And my buddy looked at, oh, fuck yeah. It got ugly quick, dude. People were trying to get to the front. So we saw a path, and if we hadn't gone at that second, he's like, we got to go now. Yeah. We ended up right up against the gate. James was sweating on us, just like Jeff should have been for you if you hadn't been in an unfortunate position.
He was for a while, you know.
Do you know how much that changed my fucking life to be like, this was before they put you 16 feet from the band.
Yeah.
This guy was sweating on us. He was literally 5 feet from us. That changed my life, man. I was like, I want to do that. You know what? That's a job.
Yeah.
This guy's making a living.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible, man.
That would be cool. That would be cool. And that's the thing that people don't understand now. And I'm glad you pointed that out, because really there's a barrier now. And it's because idiots would jump on stage. That's why you don't have nice things, because people don't respect the fact that yes, James Hetfield's a rock god. He's an icon. He's changed the evolution of heavy metal and then some. But he's still a freaking human being. He can still be freaked out. He can still be spooked if you're jumping on stage and or screaming top of your lungs, just like Jeff Tate was with my brother.
Rest in peace. Dude. Poor fucking Daryl got shot while he was doing what he loved, right? Entertaining his fans. Got jumped up on stage and fucking murdered him.
Prime example. Absolutely prime example. That's why there's barriers. That's why there's security.
One of the most peaceful human beings in the earth that played some of the heaviest music on the planet.
Right?
Nobody ever said a bad thing about Daryl. They were like, holy shit, what an amazing human being. Mm-hmm. Went and did guitar clinics for kids and just wanted to jam, man. One of your famous quotes that I always tell people that I always loved about you is you would say all the time, I don't know, dude, it's just like if we'd start to even get close to being in an argument, like, I just want to jam, man. Let's just fucking jam, dude. Come on. Let's go. Crank it up. Let's get loud.
Yeah, because everything's better when you jam, man.
Absolutely.
Everything's better. You get all the emotion out. You get whatever's in your head out. You just lose yourself in the music. You kind of transcend into the moment of whatever you're doing, because you got to be focused. You got to.
But it brought us all back into a circle, right? Everybody always got a chuckle out of that. You just be like, I don't know, man. Whatever, dude. Let's just jam. Let's fucking jam. Let's jam. We can worry about that later. Let's play something we know right now, right? Just jam.
And then you all just knew and shut up and all right, we'll fucking play then. Fuck you, Chris.
Because you can't argue with logic. You know, we were all there to do that. It's like, oh, fuck, he's right, you know.
And then 5 songs later, nobody's mad.
No.
Because you forgot why you're mad, because it was that stupid and petty. And it wasn't stupid and petty, but it was relevant at the time. And it was always something music related, right? It was, lyrically or, bridge here, bridge there, fill this gap, put the fill in here. I don't want to make it sound like that. Scott used to outride me because I would say phrases too many times. I remember that one song. I don't know why. He's like, dude, you say I don't know why too many times. I'm like, but it calls for it, Scott.
It did.
It doesn't. Carrie, what do you think? Leave me out of it.
She was a good producer.
Like, leave me out of it. And then it's every time, dude. She's like, dude, you do sing that way too many times. I'm like, but it calls for it. I'm filling the space. Trust me, on stage you'll see it because it's an energy thing. I'm building it up. That was a song about how I went and pissed off Roger Klein.
I love that song.
Which is now the Peacemakers. But that's what that song was about. Because
I was actually proud of that moment because that was so different for us. That song was not like anything else we ever wrote. It was it was very, remember the beat was very on. The only best way I can describe it is Scott was like not on top of the beat. He was almost like over the top of the beat. It was very driving in a way that You know what I'm saying?
But it was because the way the melody and the way I sang it, we built it up because legit I told a story.
It was so much fun to play.
Yeah.
It just was.
Yeah. It was a journey. It was a journey melodically and vocally, and then the way you guys built the music around it, it just kind of it build up, and then it was kind of
then it dropped down to nothing.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. Because that's
and
what
it would
the thing
build
was.
itself back up from there. I fucking dug that song, dude. I loved playing it live. I think we only got to play it live a handful of times.
Yeah, that was a good song, though. Hey, if you don't remember, we're the Chris and Mike Show. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. All of those platforms, just search at Chris and Mike Show. We're also working on a website for the chrisandmikeshow.com. I'm sorry, chrisandmikeshow.com. So once we get that up and running, those of you that want to come on our show, there'll be an interactive calendar, we hope, that you can go in and click spots and spaces, reserve your time, drop all the info. So while you're social mediaing, just go to our pages again, Instagram, give us a follow, Facebook, give us a follow, and drop a review. If you like the show, just make a review. Hey, this is a great show. You know, that's it. If you don't like the show, don't leave a review.
Go ahead.
Or call us first and say, hey, if you do this for me, then I'll leave you a good review.
Go ahead. Tell me why I suck. It's all right. Don't tell Chris why he sucks. He's emotional today.
And then obviously subscribe on YouTube because, again, it helps us grow organically, and we're trying to do this organically. We don't want to pay. We don't want to pay for likes and subscribers because Mike and I both just think that's wrong. Like, we were in the music industry where you built everything by word of mouth.
We had to beat the streets and flyer and go to ASU and hand it out to beautiful women. It was horrible. I hated every second of it. It was grueling.
Absolutely terrible.
In the Arizona heat, I handed out those flyers to every beautiful woman I saw.
That's why you're so skinny. That's why you lost all the weight because you're walking around when it's 100 degrees outside, winning your long hair, and the rock and roll.
That was one of the best ideas we ever had, though. I'm like, why are we going to all these places? Let's just go where the chicks are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there you go. We should have went to strip clubs because I
did a lot of that, but I don't think I flyered there.
A couple of our songs would have definitely worked very well for the stripping world.
Oh, no question.
I'm not gonna lie. So, there's that for sure. So you sent me something, and I liked it.
I knew you would.
So
I got another one too, but I thought you ought to read that one because I got a funny one after that. We'll leave you with a funny thought.
Yeah. So here are the uncomfortable truths that everybody needs to hear. Okay, and this is a trip because this really is eye-opening.
Made me think.
The average lifespan is 76 years. Is this just America? Because I know in like overseas Asian countries,
I think that's average overall, like worldwide.
Okay. So Norm, George Wendt lived 2 years past the average lifespan. Not bad for somebody who was as large as he was. And
agreed.
And we don't know if he's healthy or not, but from a visual standpoint, very unhealthy human. But to each his own. Middle age is not 50; it's 38. So when you're having a midlife crisis, boys and girls, you're 38, not 50. Okay?
That's about
not
where
50.
I was.
Yeah, not 50. The days are long, but the years are shorter than you think.
Isn't that true? We just talked about is time going faster.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily going faster, but like, okay, so here's a good way to explain this. So little man, 5.5, right? Like just yesterday he was 1, so that's a trip, right? And he does these little things every now and then where I'll pull up.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So
I'll
pull up. Okay.
How do you explain me? Because I blinked and 10 years went by, right? I don't have kids to compare it to.
Yeah,
I'm not married.
yeah.
So
yeah.
And then they find out that the universe is expanding faster than they had anticipated. I'm like, does that mean time's going faster? We don't know if time is really linear, right?
We don't. And I yeah. It feels like it's going faster but from a calendar standpoint, nothing's changed. Like we haven't changed our calendar at all, right?
I can guarantee you, if Carrie's listening to this, she's screaming because one of my running jokes the whole time she's known me is, days 24 hours, it goes the same all the time, right? Like some people say, day dragging on, man. It's just really, really going slow. It's like, no, it's going the same speed it goes every day. So I know where you're coming from because I've argued that for years. Mm-hmm. But Jesus, man, to me, it just feels like maybe we're being inundated with information we didn't have before, right?
It's possible.
You used to end your day, you ate a baked potato and a hamburger and some French fries or whatever.
Right.
And then you watched the evening news and then you talked to your wife or your kids and then you went to bed. Now you have emails and social media and computers and podcasts and,
Oh, yeah.
Does that make time go faster because your attention is always being consumed by something, right?
Right. Yep. If something doesn't feel right, don't settle for it.
I agree with that one in spades.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't stay in places that drain you.
That's another one that I've done. Everybody's done. But some people spend way too much. Mm-hmm. I know somebody right now who has been lingering in the past for close to a decade. Just can't let it go. It's sad.
That's scary.
Super sad.
Don't waste your time. Yeah. You get that, don't waste your time. And that's what irritates me when we have guests that were supposed to be on our shows. We've had 2 now that have canceled the day of the show.
It's going to happen. You know that.
Right, and I understand that completely, but they're luckily you and I are professionals and we can just go on the fly,
But
we don't.
I will tell you in Chris's defense, whatever, he handles a lot of the booking and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you guys are talking about behind the scenes, here's what I'm going to say as his co-host and the person that asked him to do this in the first place. If we had canceled a gig at some of the best places we ever played at right before we were going to play at it, we would have never got asked back there again because there were no other options, right, at that level.
Correct.
So, not that
that's our stance.
We don't have millions of downloads, but we're in 18 countries and we have enough listenership and you guys all kick ass and we appreciate you listening and we're trying to bring you good content. So, to the people that bailed, that's what you bailed on,
Right. And that's one of the reasons why we don't do our show live, because we want to be able to have those guests on and talk to them and edit the clips and things like that. So then before they come on, one of our new trends is I'm going to let people know, oh, this such and such person starts, is in a Good Manner show. Check it out, because then you know who's coming on.
Yeah, but the actual podcast is live.
Oh yeah, we're live right now. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't edit the actual podcast very much.
No, we added into shorts and we add a little bit of touch up here and there, but everything else is what you see is what you get. We're real raw and we're relevant.
Yes, I take pride in that, man. This is just a conversation. We're having a rap session here or whatever.
We're rapping, man.
Whatever the cool kids call it nowadays.
We're talking about the cheese. We're talking about the cheese and the queso. And,
Chris is one of the cool cats.
The cheese Mike's the cool cat. I'm just along for the ride, people. So eventually, the only thing you will regret is not doing more of what you love. Get that? The only thing you're going to regret is not doing more of what you love, which is why I try to have sex with my wife every single day. Whether she wants to or not.
Stellar. I was just getting ready to say that's a stellar mission. That is not a stellar mission.
It's a stellar mission.
You got to leave the last
man.
part out.
It's always a stellar mission, man. It's like Elmer Fudd. I'm hunting rabbit. It's rabbit season. I'm hunting rabbit.
We're men. That's what we do.
We are men.
Was that the last one?
Do we not pee standing up? That was the last one.
This is going to make you laugh your ass off because if anything was ever made for Chris Dunham, it's this right here.
All right, I'm ready.
And I know you're going to adopt this into your life, which is why I saved it.
Okay, right on.
You can say, have a nice day, and no one thinks twice. But you cannot say, enjoy the next 24 hours and not sound like you're threatening someone.
Oh, I love that.
I knew you would. I totally saved that for you.
That's brilliant, man.
Because somewhere along the way, you're going to work that into your life, and you're going to catch somebody by surprise, and I know you're going to go, hey, enjoy the next 24 hours. And you're going to move on about your day, and that motherfucker is going to go, what did he just say?
That's
I know
legit.
You.
Yeah,
I've never heard anybody say that. It was in a meme.
I like that, man.
Like that you can say have a nice day all you want, and no one thinks twice, but you cannot say enjoy the next 24 hours.
Do you say of your life or just hey?
Nope, you just say enjoy the next 24 hours.
Okay, enjoy the next 24 hours.
Wait, hold on. Maybe it did say of your life. Nope, that's it. Okay. Enjoy the next 24 hours and not sound like you're threatening someone.
Okay.
Enjoy the next 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So
that's horrible.
Totally off topic. Have you seen that Jordan has signed with NBC, Michael J? I
did not.
So he's going to provide commentary pre-taped before, during, and after select games throughout the season. He's not going to be there, from what I gathered and reading what I read.
So these are pre-taped.
It'll be relevant to. It'll be relevant. Okay, so like before the game starts, whoever is there, wherever he's at, they're going to have technology. They'll shoot a clip, whatever he's going to do, 2-3 minutes, break.
Kind of like we're doing right now, right? Yes. You can record anybody anywhere at any time for any reason.
Right. Just to, not to shout at your bubbles, people, but every single late night television show is recorded in the afternoon and aired later that day.
Sometimes in the
None
morning.
of them are live.
Yeah.
None of them are live. Like
No.
when I was on iHeartRadio.
Remember that Seinfeld episode? What do you mean they record Carson
Right.
or whatever it was? Leno.
It was Carson.
Was it Carson at the time?
Yeah.
What do you mean they record Carson at 11 a.m.? It doesn't come on till 10 at night.
Right. Yeah. No, when I was on radio, we recorded Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. My shows aired Saturday and Sunday mornings. So,
We'll throw ourselves under the bus, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
It is Tuesday evening at 4:18 Pacific Standard Time, 6:18 Central Standard Time, and you won't see this until probably a Sunday or, for surely a Sunday or a Wednesday.
Yeah, because what drops tomorrow? Is that Alicia?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So tomorrow, I'll make a thing for that. But yeah, so where was I going with that? I was going somewhere. Squirrel. Tick, tick, tick.
You were talking about recording a radio on Tuesdays.
I know, but there was a reason I brought that up. I don't fucking remember now.
Something about not being live.
Oh, dude, there was I totally wanted to. Oh yeah, the Jordan thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. So from what I read, from what I understand, he'll do his little pregame, and then he'll watch the first half of the game, right, from his Learjet or his yacht or whatever.
Batman bunker,
right? And then he'll have his halftime breakdown.
Okay.
Right. So whatever, and then he'll wrap up the game at the end.
That's cool.
It's not a continuous thing. It's not like every night you're going to see Jordan or hear Jordan. I think the ploy of it is, to get more people to tune into NBC/Peacock wherever the games are going to be played,
just to care about the NBA in general at all, because their viewership is down drastically.
It's way down. And part of the problem is LeBron James. Like, I don't care
and
what
the
you
fact
think about
that the
LeBron
game
James.
is boring as fuck.
It is
man.
boring. If you look at, I had a debate with my friend Mark Montgomery. Hey, Mark, which I want to get him on the show because he would be a great conversation. Like it has to be a Friday. I swear to God to you, dude, if Mark comes on, we can talk for 4 hours and it'll seem like it's 20 minutes.
Let it go.
The dude, I keep poking him.
I welcome him.
He is like you in the fact that he's very well read or audio heard. Right?
Yeah, I like to go deep on shit.
Right. And so we had this little quick debate about, I put this thing up on my page yesterday on Facebook about Jordan coming into NBA on NBC. And the meme that I found, or the picture I found, was basically Jordan doesn't pull punches. Like, it is what it is.
He's friends with Barkley for a reason.
Right. Well,
Barkley speaks his mind too.
Right, but they're not that good of friends anymore because Barkley spoke his mind.
Maybe Jordan learned a lesson he needed to in life.
Right. At least according to the Jordan documentary on him, and then what I've heard Barkley say. But yeah, Barkley will rip anybody to shreds. Barkley has ripped LeBron to shreds.
He ripped the NBA to shreds all season long this season.
Yeah. It's going to be different when Jordan rips the NBA to shred, because if you look at,
I don't know if he will though. Is he going to be the politically correct Jordan?
I don't think so. I don't. I mean, he has a high level respect for the game. I saw some stats where everybody he ever battled against in his career, the namesakes, right? They were all 7 or 8 out of 10, meaning he battled the scoring champion,
right,
7 out of 10 times, right? So I mean, just the competition that he had compared to what LeBron has is night and day. LeBron, I don't think LeBron would last in this NBA because he would just get his ass kicked. It's embarrassing. He's an embarrassing human from on the court. I hear the stuff he does off the court and his philanthropic work and what he does for his community.
That's all great, but I couldn't agree with you more. He's horrible for basketball.
It's terrible. When you flop to the point that your teammates just walk over you, dude, stop. Just
if you're arguing that LeBron is good for the game, you have to reevaluate what you're looking at, right?
You do.
There's something wrong with you.
Right. The only reason
LeBron's not good for basketball.
Right. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's making it, like I told Mark when we were talking about this, like if
What was his take on it?
He thinks LeBron is a great athlete. He thinks Jordan's very unapproachable. He kind of
LeBron is a great athlete. There's no denying that.
But would he survive in the 90s playing basketball, knowing that you had to drive the lane almost every play to get there?
No, because he's hurt all the time, and those guys played every fucking game.
And so I was watching.
Do you see the distinction? That's what Jordan and Barkley keep saying.
Right.
We didn't have he's potentially injured fucking rule.
Right.
Right?
No.
We didn't play, we didn't get paid. That was the bottom line.
Right.
They played every game. They took pride in playing every game.
There's a thing on Netflix, I think it is. It's Boston versus Lakers, right? The best team you love to hate, something like that. I got halfway through the first episode, and swear to God, watching just the first half of the basketball, the assaults that occurred.
Oh yeah, that was a brutal game back then in the 90s.
Right, and the coaches are on the sideline screaming and hollering. Like there's this one.
People were setting blind picks and shit and just laying people out.
Right. It's Lakers. It's all about the Lakers and the Celtics and their dynasty and their battles and for championship supremacy and stuff. There's when they're running away from the basket, they score a basket, and then I think Larry Bird shoves Magic Johnson, and Magic Johnson turns around. There's no freaking whistle blown.
No.
There's no stop play.
That late 70s to mid 90s, late 90s basketball it just got more brutal all the time, which then they nerfed the world, right? It got worse because they made stupid rules that made the game less interesting to watch.
Yep, and
it's a lot like watching soccer now.
If you think LeBron's the greatest basketball player ever, you're entitled to your opinion. I challenge you to go on YouTube and just pull up the 93 NBA season, not just the Bulls, just the 93 NBA season, and watch a handful of games.
And you know one of Michael Jordan's greatest quotes?
What?
He would have said, if I cared about statistics, I would have tried a lot harder, right? I cared about winning rings.
Yep.
Like if I cared about those, and his statistics in the short amount of time that he played, blow LeBron's out of the water night and day, and twice on Sunday, as they say, right?
Yep.
They just do. Day, and here's a man who put up those kind of numbers. Nobody's still ever been, the offensive and defensive player of the year at the same time?
Nope. And the MVP of the season and the MVP of the playoffs, right? Like
correct.
He had all four one year. Like that's unheard of.
Correct.
You watch LeBron on defense. LeBron stands there. He doesn't go down the field.
They
down
don't.
The court. He just stands there.
The superstars don't play defense, which is one of the problems that I have with the NBA. And everybody asks me, "Why do you watch college basketball, dude?" Because they still play the game the way it's supposed to be played. There's an offense and a defense, and it's still a competition, right? That's the word I was looking for. There's still a competition. What I see in the NBA is we're going to throw the ball from one end to the other. We're going to shoot a three. We're going to miss. Every now and then somebody's going to get an alley-oop dunk. Then we're going to go back to throwing it up and down the court.
Right.
You just hit the nail on the head. There's no defense.
No, I will say the one caveat, because I've always liked the 3-point ball, right? Steph Curry is amazing.
I love watching Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
I agree with you there.
Steph Curry, like you've seen some of his
he shoots the ball
stuff.
And you're like, there's no way that's going in.
And then when he's on a cold streak, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like they're out of the playoffs because he didn't play. I was like, why did they only win 1 out of 5 games? Like, what's up? And then I Googled it, and he's hurt. And that's how much I'm not into the NBA anymore, because I Googled it every once in a while, like NBA playoffs. Oh, the playoffs are on. Oh, I knew the Lakers.
I try and watch. I just can't.
Yeah. No, it's it is what it is. It's like Jordan said, you're being paid on potential, not what you've done.
Right.
There's
another great quote.
Right. There's an ASU football player that is getting $15 million to play at ASU, and some other team had recruited him, wanted to give him $23 million. He said no, and people are kind of going back and forth with that. Which he's in college. He's got $15 million. Like, why would you leave what you're comfortable with to go make another $7 million in a different city, different state? So, speaking of money, do you see what Brock Purdy got paid?
No.
$265 million.
Good for him.
$180 million won guaranteed.
Good for him.
Good for him, but
You know how I feel about these subjects.
I do.
I couldn't sign that fucking thing fast enough.
No, but
I'd play one game and I'd be like, oh, my neck.
oh no, I do. Believe me, I'd sign it too. But the argument is, and it's always the same argument. It's okay. So and I know people that knew. Like I have a friend I went to high school with that ended up being a football coach. He actually coached him. Like so we had a little debate on Facebook.
Do I
yes,
think he's proven himself to be worth that much money? No.
No, that's my point. Like Eli Manning never restructured his contract, right? Michael Jordan, and then I'm not saying Eli and Jordan are the same category, but Jordan never restructured his contract. He played his original contract till the day it expired, and then he got $50 million a year for every year thereafter.
Squirrel moment on topic.
Then. Yeah. Okay.
Who just got their last check for like $3.2 million they quit playing baseball like in the 90s or some shit.
Oh, what's his face?
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
I was blown away by that.
That was his agent, man. Every year.
Was it Ken Griffey Jr.?
No, it was somebody else.
They got like a last $3.2 million, $3.6 million check. They've been paid for like 22 years after they stopped playing. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I forget. I know it's on top of my tongue, but
anyway, isn't that's super smart, right?
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing. It's
thumbs up.
Jordan, again, I go back to Jordan because Jordan signed his rookie contract. That was it. He never renegotiated it. He let that contract expire. Then he negotiated. He got $50 million a year, which back then $50 million a year was Brady renegotiated all the time, but Brady renegotiated his contract because he wanted to have strong support players around him, which makes sense. Eli never did.
And he kept winning Super Bowls. Jesus.
Right. When Eli retired, which a lot of people don't know this, at the time, Eli was he was the highest paid football player in the history of the NFL from a contractual standpoint because he never negotiated it. He signed it and that's it. Showed up every day and played. He missed one game because Ben McAdoo benched him. But other than that, so that's my point. Brock Purdy, yes, he took them to the playoffs. He took them into the Super Bowl. And it's a team sport, but he hasn't delivered. And he's super good human. I mean, I know he's Arizona ties, so I hear all kinds of lovey-dovey stories about him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's not.
No, I'm
like
not
you
either.
said, he's a great athlete, but
right.
to command that kind of money with that short a resume is a huge. You're talking like you're going all in on an opening roll in craps, hoping somebody's going to hit a 7 or 11, right?
Right.
That's what I see if I'm an owner. I would be like, we're going to do what?
Yeah.
Whoa, like stop the train.
And to his but to Brock's I don't what I mean. To Brock's credit, you could have gone in and renegotiated his rookie contract. He was Mr. Irrelevant. He made crap compared to everybody else.
Yeah, league minimum.
And he could have held out like a lot of players do, but he didn't. So which shows you the type of character he is as a human. He had a contract, he honored it, and period. Great for him. I just don't.
You know me. I'm never denouncing someone's character because I don't know the guy. I'm just saying
exactly
with the small bit that I see that he's done in the face of the public in the job that he's being paid to do.
Right.
No, I couldn't sit there in good conscience and give him $181 million.
No, and that's guaranteed. His total contract's $265, but and so like
I might give him $265 and say, okay, $20 million of this is guaranteed, and the other is incentive based, and I would have some pretty good incentives, right?
Right. I mean, but go back, Deshaun Watson. They paid him $260 million. He's a wash. Deshaun Watson will never.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
I think he holds the record for the highest most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with no results.
Right.
Good on him.
Heck of a football player, but he never
got
got
of a
past,
human being.
Right. Yeah, totally. So Deshaun Watson, that's a waste of money because he's never going to amount to anything. Kyler Murray, waste of money. I'm sorry, Arizona. He's not taking you to the Super Bowl. He's too small.
No, he's
too
another
short.
bust. I couldn't agree with you more.
Total bust.
Our guy's going to be a bust. You watch.
Who's your guy?
Caleb Williams.
Oh, yeah. Caleb, yeah. Did he get paid?
I don't know yet. You'd have.
I don't
to
think he
look
got
that.
paid. He's still on his rookie contract, I think.
I'm
That's
pretty
the
sure
best
you're
thing.
correct.
The best thing that could have happened to Shadur Sanders was the 5th round, because now he's got a chip, and he picked number 12 because he's coming after Brady. Good, come after Brady, dude. Show us that you're more than what everybody thought you were, because the way you handled your meetings and your interviews. Show the world you were wrong. We were wrong.
Here's that would what Tom Brady's saying. I've been there, done that, right? So yeah, sure. Yeah. Come after all those records.
That would be fantastic. That would be a greatest story ever.
Of course it would.
Was supposed to be here, dropped to here, chip on his shoulder. I'm going to change the evolution of football.
Goes out and breaks every record the NFL's ever seen. I would love to see that.
Right? Absolutely. Champion,
because it'd be great for the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm. But will he? No.
No, I have my doubts.
No, because the Browns have 5 quarterbacks.
I saw that. I'm glad you brought that up. I was sitting there having coffee with my dad when the week that he got drafted, and their little thing scrolls across the bottom of ESPN all the time, right? And it listed the Browns quarterbacks, and it's like number 1, number 2, number 3, and it just kept going. Number 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, they got 5 quarterbacks.
They got 5 quarterbacks. So 2 of them got to go. You got to cut 2 of them.
Yes.
Because you can't carry more than 3.
Yeah. You get 1 for the practice squad and a backup.
Yeah. So 2 of them are, so, and it can't be, they should just cut Deshaun Watson, because he's just,
You said it. He's a bust.
He's a total bust. He doesn't have it. He was really good in Houston, but that's when he was really good.
Right.
That's
it. He peaked.
Yeah, he did, which is sad because, but he
but
made his millions. He made all his money and then some. What else you want to talk about? Squirrel. Hey, by the way, this is Chris and Mike Show. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Drop a review. We're working on a chrisandmikeshow.com website that should be pretty legit. We do drop shorts twice a day on YouTube, so it's really important to subscribe to YouTube, because you can see those shorts, and they're from all different shows. So it's not just something you've seen. They may be something from the past, something from the future that you have not seen yet. So definitely subscribe to YouTube, because why not? And we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Where else? All platforms?
Pretty much anywhere you would listen to a podcast. I can't think of one that we're not on.
And is that something that you did, or does it just happen that way?
No, I did it. It's called a RSS feed, and it doesn't really matter, but it stands for...
I know what it is, yeah.
Real Simple Syndication. That's what it stands for.
So you put the RSS feed on different things then?
Well, when you home base yourself somewhere, which we're home based at Spotify provides a service where if you type in your link at Spotify to their special RSS deal, they send it everywhere else. So we're on Overcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple, Spotify. Like I said, pretty much anywhere you would listen to a podcast, we're there. So
you're gonna have to show me that for my podcast, Boys and Girls, which is A Moment with the Real Estate Guy. Every Tuesday I drop new tangible information.
Yes.
That was it. That's all I had. That was my plug.
And post those on our page and post them on the Chris and Mike Show when we get that going. We'll set you up a section for your real estate podcast for sure.
Cool.
And maybe if I get really good at this, we'll take on some more people for the Iron Dog Podcast Network and actually make it a real podcast network.
That would be fun.
It would be fun. One step at a time, but might need Mark Jeffrey's help.
One step at a time. Mark Jeffrey hasn't left us a review yet. I've been bugging him a couple of times.
He's a busy guy. I'm sure he'll get to it.
I'm sure
I know. I know you run a tight ship, brother.
I run a tight ship.
You see, I got Joe on there.
I did. Oh yeah, I didn't. Good job. What about Jake?
Jake responded today. Jake has been taking finals, so he is checked out of the universe for a couple weeks here, and I think he's reintegrating himself back to society. So,
all right, good.
Yeah. He's a college student.
Yeah, because anybody that, like the one that was supposed to be on the show today, I told him the show doesn't start without making sure you've done these 3 things. And she did those 3 things. She left us a review about excited to come on the show, and then not on the show.
Okay.
So, and I tell everybody, it's,
I
like
understand
Mike
shit
said,
happens, but
I do too.
you've
But-
booked
but-
things up because we have a show to run here, right? We can't just
Right.
not have a guest all the time. So
No, and if you're a life coach, you should know what your life is about that day,
it's helpful.
So we do
For surely
we
keep
do-
track of better track of your husband, please.
Yes, yeah.
He was in the hospital, poor soul.
Right. Anything else you want to talk about?
What did I have? Oh, I'm going to leave you with one funny
Okay.
thought, and
Okay.
this will make you feel better when you run into people that just make you go,
All right. Well, enjoy the next 24 hours, Mike.
I fucking love that. That was so right up our alley. I'm like, screenshot. Like 9 times so I wouldn't lose it. This is a true fact. This is from.
Look, speaking of the devil, Nikki just walked in.
She's not the devil. I'm talking to the
No,
devil.
no, but we were speaking of,
You're talking to the devil.
Yeah. She's the sexy devil.
There you go. We can go with that.
Yeah.
This is from National Geographic.
Okay.
1 in 10 Americans still think the Earth is flat.
See, okay, so Little Man.
Tell
when
Nikki I
showed
said
him-
hi. She just waved at
Mike
us.
says hi. So when Little Man, I showed him this picture earlier this week of there's an ice wall in the Antarctic. Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I totally know
Okay.
what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's like 9,000 meters tall.
Yes.
So
And it's
the way
growing.
the picture, right? So the way the picture looks, you have the Earth, you have the Antarctica, then you have this wall that comes around, and then it's black because it's obviously the dark side of the wall. So it's black.
Yes.
He's like, the Earth is flat, Pop. No, it's not. So then I went. So because we were on YouTube, because he wants to be an astronaut, he's still in that space mode. So we went on YouTube and I googled Earth. I mean, he was messing with me because he's getting that sense of humor. So then it's the Earth's round, dude. Come on. But the picture, legit, you could tell by looking at the picture why somebody would think it was flat.
100%. That's how
'Cause there's just
these
massive-
people talk
right.
these people into it. But
Right.
look, dude, I got photographic evidence. It's like, no,
Right.
you have an illusion.
Yeah, it is an illusion. Life
What
is
you
an
got
illusion.
there? Plant?
It's a plant. She's cleaning out her classroom and she has plants in her classroom. So
Oh, is it the end of the school year?
Yeah, so she's bringing plants home.
Hooray!
She's got a half a day tomorrow with kids, and then the rest of the week is just nonsense and
Full day tomorrow, half day Thursday.
full day tomorrow, half day Thursday.
Good for her.
So there's the plants. There's
You have an
more.
addition to your office.
There's more. There's more plants. Plants breathe life into America, into the souls. A funny little fact here, boys and girls. Jasmine, okay, the plant, the jasmine,
Yes.
it actually cleans and purifies and deodorizes your air. So if you have, and it helps you sleep better. So if you want to sleep better at night, put a jasmine plant in your bedroom.
I'm glad you said something about that. I'm going to send you one other thing that's going to blow your mind. You don't have to, you can just read it because it's kind of long.
Okay.
You're going to love this one too. It has to do with what you just said. Food.
About jasmine plants or deep
No,
sleep?
food secrets
sleeping?
you need to know. It's
Food
great.
secrets.
Yes.
So that
Here's
leads
one
us
that
to-
blew my mind.
Okay.
Place
Go ahead.
mushrooms in sunlight an hour before cooking. They absorb vitamin D like a sponge. I didn't know
Wow.
that.
I didn't know that either. Interesting.
Do you use turmeric in your diet?
We use
Turmeric?
turmeric every now and then. We have turmeric. It depends on if we're having casual Indian food for dinner, which is very not.
It
profitable.
does you
Curry,
no good if you don't use it with black pepper.
But we don't. Oh, really? So curry, turmeric, and black
Turmeric
pepper.
works 20 times better when eaten with black pepper.
Wow.
This is another one that everybody needs to hear. Crush garlic and let sit for 10 minutes before cooking. This boosts the disease-fighting compound allicin.
Huh. I lost my mind on Allison Road.
This blew my mind too. I always wondered if tomatoes were still
Tomatoes.
healthy when they're cooked. Tomatoes are actually more healthy when they're cooked. They release more lycopene, a powerful antioxidant which is good for your heart and your skin.
Right.
Makes your skin glow, Chris Dunham.
Makes your skin glow. It's glowing. It's glowing right now because I got the light right there. It's glowing. Okay, so your other one here, pairing iron with vitamin C, it boosts the iron absorption by combining it with foods.
I found that kind of fascinating too.
It's a trip. Like I do use lemon juice on greens. the
Talked to
vitamin C.
Peter Ho about this on Friday. See, now we both
Okay.
got it.
Okay. Huh. Interesting, man. Don't eat oatmeal plain. No, because oatmeal plain is bad for you. It's not healthy. People think
That's
it's
right.
healthy.
This Friday, right? Peter Holt and Nate Palmer.
Nate Palmer, yeah.
The $1 million body. I'm looking forward to this. Like you
Nate's
can't
like,
even
can I pick a
imagine.
fight? Nate's
Yes.
like, can I pick a fight?
No, a debate.
A
debate.
That's what I said. I'm like, you can't pick a fight, Nate.
We're not fighting. We're debating.
I'm like, Peter's a health and wellness coach. You're a health and fitness coach. I'm like, because he saw Peter doing the drops.
Okay.
Nate apparently has issue with drops, so we're gonna find out. That'll be fun.
They can duke it out in a healthy.
Well, that's what I told him.
They're gonna be fine.
Oh, I know. That's what I told
You
him.
and I agree to disagree all the time on this. That's why I always ask you before I give you my opinion.
Right, but you never have to ask. You just have to give me your opinion. I don't care. I don't need to be. I don't.
No, I don't want you to be swayed in any way. And then when we don't agree, I'm like, no, here's why I don't agree with you. But whatever I asked you earlier, which I could never remember now because that was over an hour ago.
Right.
We agreed wholeheartedly. Oh, it was on the shooting.
Right.
Yeah, that guy.
The Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another Margie story. Because she lived in Hollywood. So she punched Tom Petty's daughter in the nose.
She's the one that authorized the movie.
I know.
Yeah.
And so Margie punched her when they were kids. Billy Idol was riding down Sunset Strip, I think. I may or not be correct, but on his Harley, and she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Oh my God, it's Billy Idol!" To the fact that he squirted his bike and turned back and looked and almost got in an accident. So she was. I mean, that's why we worked so well when I did the radio show, because she was the Robin Quivers to my Howard Stern. It just worked. But just because you got to have somebody. Like my podcast I do is cool because it's just me dropping hints and tips, but they're only like 2 minutes or less because I'm not going to sit here and.
I will
talk
tell
to
you
myself
right
for
now.
5 minutes.
There's only one podcast. This tells you. So Chris couldn't have brought up a better subject. There's only one podcast that I can listen to where the guy does it by himself, and Rogan would agree in spades too.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's Bill Burr, because he is a fucking artist.
Yeah.
That man can argue with himself and have you laughing so hard that you got to hit pause. It's like, I need a minute, right? And then let him go on again. He's just got the talent to be able to know how to keep a conversation going by himself. Joe tried it a couple times by himself. And he finally admitted it's weird.
Yeah,
I think you got to get over the fact you just feel like you're talking to no one. If you weren't here right now, I would feel super weird.
Well, and that's why because I've gone back and forth forever about doing a podcast with a moment with the real estate guy, because I've always had that kind of idea.
Sure,
but a couple people I've reached out to locally, they're like, yeah, I don't want to, maybe a show here or there, but I'm not. I'm like, okay. So then I just find this out. You know what? What if I just drop 2-minute segments and I just focus on one thing and just shoot it, and then it's information that's legit information. It's real. It ties to the real estate world, and it just So I think it worked. It wasn't, what I wanted to do, which bummed me out. Like, you can't get shorts out of Riverside unless you go for at least 5 minutes.
They have to be 5 minutes or longer.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did my first one like a minute, and I was like, I can't do a short. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go 2 minutes. I still can't do a short. I don't know what I would. The only way I could do a 5-minute show is if I had.
I have a way for you to fix that.
Well, I was thinking
we'll talk about it off the air.
Okay. I was thinking if I had like 45 second to a minute knowledge bombs and just record it on one thing, and then there's my shorts.
You don't even have to do that. You can combine those things you did together as one.
Oh, and then so I had to have 6 episodes as one, and then pull shorts out of it.
Yeah. So what you would do is you're going to put them all into one file. Just make a new file, put them all in there together as one long thing that you're never going to use for anything other than to cut those shorts out of.
Oh, right on. Okay. Yeah, you have to show me that.
Yeah. I learned it by accident because you accidentally recorded 2 of our podcasts in Wade Simmons' podcast, and I couldn't find it, so I had to reach out to customer service.
I don't know how I did that, but that explains why when I open up Riverside, Wade Simmons pops up. I'm like, why does he keep popping up? So I need to go in. So I need to go into Wade Simmons to get those shorts of those other 2 episodes.
No, I moved them into their own.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I fixed it a long time ago.
Good job.
I'm the behind the scenes guys, ladies and gentlemen.
He needs to be signing. He's doing good. Hey, so again,
Support knows who I am.
He does, absolutely. So this is the Chris and Mike Show. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Drop a review. Give us a follow on all platforms. We always wrap up the shows like this. Don't let the bad days win.
Amen.
Somebody loves you. Somebody needs you. Somebody will miss you tomorrow if you're not there to answer your phone or text or open that door with your smiling face.
That's right.
That's right. So there you go. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
That's it. That was good.
That's it.
Good show. Good show. And, to our guest that wasn't here, sorry. I'll reach back out to you maybe in August, see if there's a spot for you.
Yes.
Because again,
things happen.
They do happen, but be respectful of other people's times and calendars. Because I could have had somebody else in the spot.
Agreed. Agreed.
But it is always nice. I think I'm going to reserve at least one Tuesday every month just for you and I, because I like just talking to you.
Do whatever you need to do. I like talking to you too. You know that. That's why we started this.
It is. It is, absolutely.
But it's fun learning about other people. I think you're seeing that side of it too, right?
Yes. Because we've learned, everybody we've had on, they've taught us something, and we've taken something away, and we hope they have. And
for the people that wonder why I gravitated towards Rogan, that's why. Because what his podcast became was just that. I learned so much from like Graham Hancock and Mike Baker, who was a former CIA agent, and all these MMA fighters who have done great things other than MMA. Like just like I told Alicia with Justin Wren, he went over to the Congo, and these people did great things, and I love hearing those stories. It's like reading a book without having to read, right?
Right. You just sit there and listen and absorb it, which is fun.
I love it. So thank you for doing this with me. I've meant to say that for a long time. I love you, brother. This has been a blast.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Thank you for having me. It's a mutual acceptance.
It is absolutely. Love you too, man. Love you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.
Quickly, we're gonna fly and disappear. Look the tablet, go insane. Feel the juice flow through your veins. On your journey, take it slow to the place where you will go. Feel the trip behind your eyes. Feel the sorrow beneath your face. Take a moment, listen to your tears. Fight the battle that you must win. Fight the battle that you must win. Who is it, baby?